if I make it to the NBA, I'll be the first Filipino, and my dream is to help others to get here too.
Kai Zachary Perlado Sotto, born May 11th, 2002. Today's feature is a once prodigy trying to become the first Philippine-born player to play in the NBA. At 7'2" and just 20 years old, you'd think the potential of that happening has to be high. But for Sotto, decisions made along the way, along with factors out of his control, made his short journey feel a lot longer and go a different way than many expected. As the 2022 NBA draft wound down, the Washington Wizards, with the 54th pick, selected the last center of the 58-man draft, and Kai Sotto fans had to feel hopeful but nervous at the same time. Just 4 more picks to go, and for sure Sotto would hear his name called, right? Especially after being compared to the second overall pick of that draft. Chet Holmgren has a talent slightly below, but with his size and ability to stretch the floor, tons of potential. He was the tallest player to commit to the draft that year, auditioning for a league where size is a premium. Would he fit well with the Golden State Warriors, who held the next pick? Cavaliers, Trailblazers? Then, with the last pick of the draft, the Indiana Pacers select Hugo Besson from France. One of Kai's dreams of being the first Filipino-born player drafted into the NBA was crushed. But on to plan B, as he can still be the first to play in an NBA game should a team deem he's ready enough before it's too late and his name settles as just another failed prospect who couldn't figure it out. His first step in his newly found figuring it out process was another year with the Adelaide 36ers for the 2022-23 season. He played 27 games at 13 minutes a game and averaged 6.8 points, 4.5 rebounds, and more turnovers than assists. Add to the setbacks just 0.8 blocks a game, 70% from the foul line, and 22% from 3, which was supposed to be the cherry on top skill NBA teams became interested in the first place. Besides being the tallest player on the team and one of their only draft prospects, Sotto didn't do anything to help his case as a player the league missed on and should offer a contract at the soonest. Most recently, he signed with the Hiroshima Dragonflies in Japan's B-League February 2023 and is waiting to make his debut and finish out the next 3 months with the team for the second half of their season. From there, Kai hopes to join an NBA Summer League team with the goal of signing an NBA contract and showing the last few years didn't hinder his development and that he has grown into a player that can help an NBA squad. For now, the battle is uphill and the opportunity to become the player expected could be at its end this upcoming summer. Salute to Kyle Andre for this request. What happened to Kai Sotto's potential? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Kai Sotto is a 7'2" center born in Las Piñas, Philippines to a 6'7" father and 6'1" mother. His father played professionally in the Philippines, so for Kai at his size potential and constantly being around the game, had no choice but to pursue basketball and make the NBA his target, especially seeing as he had the best chance of any to be the first Philippine-born player in the league. He became a star for Ateneo High School and their junior team, averaging 25.1 points a game, 13.9 rebounds, and 2.6 blocks before moving to the United States for a final year to help develop his skills against the best competition. For the Skill Factory in Atlanta, Georgia, he averaged 27, 10, and 4 blocks at the King Invitational, and by the end of 2020, he was courted by Kentucky, Auburn, USC, and Georgia Tech, but chose to forego his college eligibility and sign with the G League Ignite. He was expected to play for the Ignite, also to miss a few games while with the Philippine national team at the 2021 Asia Cup qualifiers. He'd never play a game for the Ignite, turning out to be a huge setback. Stunt number 1, not going to college. I think the first standout choice Sotto made that didn't bode well for his future was him not going to college in a safe environment where he could find some consistency in the US and also a place he could develop his game and his body, not to mention his confidence before attempting to go pro. Whether it took a year, 2 years, or the full 4, he would have still been a 7-footer and still have an opportunity to be drafted, seeing as 7-footers never go out of desire. With how he played at the Skill Factory, it wouldn't be far off to think he could have the same success on the college level. Plus, the great thing about college basketball and being a prospect with the hype like Sotto is you get ample time to choose which program will best suit you trying to develop into a better version of yourself. One of the reasons later on Kai Sotto went undrafted was because after working out for multiple NBA teams, they felt he wasn't strong enough to play center in the NBA, wasn't fluid enough with his movements, mainly laterally, to be effective off the pick and roll, nor creating for himself or teammates. In college, none of that would have mattered, and here's why. Kai Sotto, assuming he chose a school he could come in and be the featured player, would have put up enough numbers on that level of competition that a team would have taken the risk no matter how he looked in workouts. Chet Holmgren, his longtime comparison, went to Gonzaga and averaged 14 points and 10 rebounds, along with shooting 39% from 3 in his lone season, and was a top 3 pick. Before the draft, many had him going number 1. Sotto could have done close to the same on a team like Auburn or USC and at least become a mid to late first round pick, still a 7-footer, and still having the hype around his potential. Not choosing the college route placed him on the professional circuit too soon and led to his other growth stunts. Stunt number 2, not being able to play for the G League. Make matters worse, Sotto gave up his college eligibility and still wasn't able to play for the Ignite team that had Jalen Green, Jonathan Kuminga, and Dejan Nix, bringing much desired attention to the new alternative route, and Kai, being one of the few foreign-born players selected for the opportunity, certainly would have had his share of eyes to himself. Not to mention, when you hear about his game on paper, being a 7-footer that can also shoot threes, he was one small step away from realizing his dream. What happened to his G League opportunity, though, was partially out of his control, as no one expected a worldwide pandemic and it to affect as much as it did. Travel restrictions, but also when he was allowed entry into the United States, the G League announced it had reached a mutual decision that Kai wouldn't be able to join the Ignite team. They called it a mutual decision, but it makes no sense for Sotto to not take that opportunity, seeing as it was the final step to getting to the NBA. All for what? To go to Australia? Japan? I think the Ignite were already set in their roles, and contractually it didn't make sense as well to add Kai after missing so much time and being out of the country in Asia, exposed to whatever they thought he was. Either way, one bad decision not going to college led to another, and here we are with Kai Sotto. Stunt number 3, still not ready. Another huge growth stunt for Sotto is the NBA seeing he's still not ready after 2 seasons as a professional under his belt. Of course, they won't be able to fully tell until they see him this summer should he make a summer league team, but in the experience he's been able to get in the same league LaMelo Ball came from and was a star, also RJ Hampton, who like Sotto underperformed on that level and turned out to be the same underperforming player in the NBA, is a good judge of whether or not Kai will struggle. The thing about Sotto is it's not a development thing that will simply come along over time. The way he's built, it seems this is who he'll be for the foreseeable future. He's slow, weak physically, and doesn't seem to have the dog in him to overcome those things. What worked in projecting his potential was his outside shooting and rim protection, which he's not fared well at as a pro so far. His last few months in Japan will make or break Sotto depending how it goes from here. All in all, I think Kai will most certainly get an opportunity this summer to see if he developed enough or not. He has to improve his competitive nature and own the fact that eyes are on him and he needs to perform. He has some good tools, but mentally, is he still confident like he was as an amateur? I think he made a bad choice not to go to college, and it led to more unfortunate occurrences that make Kai Sotto's NBA future look a lot more discouraging than it once was. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, Kai Sotto may be on his last NBA opportunity. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. I'm out.